Please, art direct. Please.
Oh, don't worry, I know. Okay, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about this episode, Not Another Monday. I have a couple of things that I think we should unpack about it. One is the obvious thing that I have been talking about since I started talking about Golden Girls all the time, which is maybe 20 years now. But the thing that the thing that's kind of the easiest kind of cut in this is Sophia is interfering with Martha's ability to kind of self-govern and make her own decisions, because Martha has made a decision that she says it quite clearly and quite compellingly that she doesn't want to die by inches. And while I understand Sophia kind of kowtowing to the kind of moral quandary that Rose brings up of like, how could you be party to this? And Rose even like erroneously refers to it as murder, which is horseshit. And also, for those Catholics in the room, Catechism 2 actually clarified that suicide is not a mortal sin. So when I off myself, I'll be going straight to motherfucking heaven, okay? You're welcome. So the idea that this was, and Catechism 2 was around when this show was happening, so the idea that it is somehow like a moral failing and a mortal sin to decide to that you have the right to decide when your life ends, I think is a really troubling but actually really common kind of idea. So we see this here with Sophia kind of like interrupting Martha's like plan, and I hate when people say filling their head with ideas. It's like, it's called having a conversation. But she has a conversation that destabilizes Martha's certainty around the goal of not being in pain anymore. Because it's not that she is deciding that she just doesn't want to be alive. She's deciding that she has lived a full life. She has a lot of health issues that are causing her a significant amount of distress and pain. So she doesn't want to die by inches. Let her fucking go. This is her life that she's making a decision about. So I think it's important, though, with that in mind, to have a conversation with Martha. If Sophia could have had that conversation with Martha before the actual moment where also Martha's gonna die in that nightgown, are you serious? The flannel nightgown is what you want to be found in? And she didn't give Sophia any like instructions to dress her. So Sophia should have had a conversation with Martha about accommodations and about how, like, what are some things, like, is it about, like, are there accommodations that could be made for her, like, varying abilities around pain, around mobility, around whatever. Like, there are things that can be attended to from a disability framework that may make Martha's life seem much more enjoyable and full. So that I feel like that is the conversation that could have been useful in questioning whether Martha knew that she wanted to die or not. I feel like I've had conversations with multiple friends who have been expressing suicidality, and a couple of the people I've worked with who have expressed a death wish. I just want to break this down a little bit. I feel like there are two sides of the same coin. But I saw a talk by Morgan Page and Sarah Schulman at the KGB in Montreal talking about responding to the queer suicide epidemic that's kind of happened, the queer trans suicide epidemic that's been happening over the last couple of years. And I had always been like, yeah, death, kill yourself, suicide, yay, yay, until I saw this talk when Sarah Schulman explained, who like is a great author, wrote Gentrification of the Mind, was like one of the like original ACT UPers, and she talked about how suicidality or being suicidal is actually an acute mental health crisis that when it requires and when it gets medical attention or like psychiatric attention, then it ends. And then people are, like more or less happy to be alive, or like thankful that they didn't end their life. Whereas a death wish, I think, is actually quite significantly different, and I think also should be responded to different than an emotional or mental health crisis. A death wish is when you have explored and exhausted all of your options, when you have made a measured decision about whether your life is enjoyable, meaningful, livable for you in the interim moving forward. Like, I have an old friend who has been experiencing suicidality for a while. We've had conversations about maybe this is a result of the substance that you have been using sucking all of the good chemicals out of your brain for when you're not using it, and that it, like the state of anhedonia, or like that kind of despondent mental and emotional state, is going to be with you for like 6 to 9 months. That is potentially a longer time of living in despair than you are willing to bear. So while we're able to say like, oh, it's just 6 or 9 months, if it's something that you can't handle, why is it my right to say that you have to grin and fucking bear it, and then at the end of the rainbow, you're gonna thank me for it? So this leads me to the next issue about that I feel like could be kind of unpacked a little with this episode, is the idea of support and community. And the episode falls so far flat on its back that it actually sinks below the foundation of the building and is like making a sucking sound towards like crinkling the like tectonic plates and like lava going like. Oh, there's a really funny story about my friend who like fucked this doctor in Newfoundland when we were teenagers, and he's like, oh my god, you fucked a doctor. And he was talking about how when this dude came, it was like a groundhog on Groundhog's Day. It's like, just picture my finger as his penis, and then this like little drop of cum like pulled open his urethra, looked around, and then went back in. And I feel like that. True fact. This is a real story, straight from Newfoundland. We don't make shit up over there. We make it up over here. About over there. And this is how far Sophia had failed. It's like you see this glimmer of hope, and then like back down the urethra. Because Sophia says, like, well, I'll be your fucking best friend, and we seriously never see Martha again. Because, speculating here, she fucking offs herself 3 days later when she realizes that Sophia, because this is the thing, she says to Sophia explicitly, I don't have a life like you. I don't have a house full of roommates. And Sophia has this other episode where she, volunteers raising money by playing in a band. She directs a band that's raising money for the abortion clinic. They say the clinic, I know that it's the abortion clinic. I just know. That is Sophia's value, and it is my shared value as well. So she raises money for the clinic. She hugs an AIDS patient. This cute little boy who got it through like a blood transfusion, so it's okay. We're allowed to love him in it. So it shows Sophia's, like generosity and empathy. But we know that Sophia has a very full social calendar, and this is a thing that we see in the research that's been done about gay men's health and queer health in general. It talks about the importance of community, and then when you see folks who respond to, it's like, let's pour one out for the trolls. I mean, honestly though, the thing that makes my life worth living are you fucking assholes right here. But especially these assholes that are my family. Like, my family came to me, it is. This is the thing that makes my life worth living, is my connection. I have been an atheist forever, and then decided that I was an anti-theist a couple years ago because I was like, well, religion's so bad that I actually don't believe in religion. But then I heard someone talking about this idea of the spiritual or the communal as spiritual, and it was like a light bulb went off. It's like, oh, the thing that I think is sacred in the world is our ability to be with each other, to see each other, to stand with and witness each other. And that's actually the most important thing. And yes, right, totally. How, I'm not even going to do a shame for the moment. But this is the thing that makes me so upset in this episode, is that it's particularly the thing that Sophia holds over Martha as like the carrot for her to not make this decision that she has reasoned out, which essentially then just becomes like flaunting her privilege and her ability to manage and maintain, to form and then to maintain these close and intimate bonds. So I just really would like for us to be nice to each other, and I get so frustrated with the internet trolls, A, not killing themselves, I don't want them to kill themselves, but B, being so sad and frustrated in their lives that they the closest thing to pleasure is to make other people feel upset. It is so transparent to me, the pain that I see in the comments by the people that are being mean. And whatever, like I had crippling depression, year 2.0 this winter. Like my life is not all sunshine and roses, but it's fucking sunshine and roses if we let it be. And I just want to say thank you to my family, and by my family I mean all of you queer, amazing people, and also Sophia, shame on you.